My father stood at the microphone during my wedding toast and waved the faded leather journal my grandmother had pressed into my palm 20 minutes earlier. "This is what happens when old people lose their minds," he announced to 400 guests. Then he dropped it into an ice bucket filled with expensive vodka. Everyone laughed. I didn't. I reached into that freezing slush, grabbed those soaked pages, and walked straight out of my own reception in a ruined $15,000 gown. What I discovered inside that waterlogged journal 3 days later wasn't just family history. It was a financial time bomb worth $18 million. And I was about to use every cent of it to obliterate the man who'd spent 30 years convincing me I was worthless. But before I show you how I turned one old bank book into a federal case that destroyed my father's entire fake legacy, tell me in the comments, has a family member ever humiliated you at a major life event? Drop your story below. I read every single one. My name is Nina Castellano. I'm 32 years old, and I've spent most of my life being invisible. As an ER physician in Miami, I'm trained to disappear into the background. Let the trauma speak. Let the blood tell the story. Keep your head down, hands steady, emotions locked behind sterile gloves. Standing in the marble lobby of Coastal Trust Bank 3 days after my wedding, I felt anything but invisible. The journal sat in a clear plastic bag on the counter in front of me, pages warped and stained with gray goose. It looked exactly like the trash my father had called it. The teller was maybe 23, blonde, bored. She picked up the bag with 2 manicured fingers, like it might be contaminated. "I need to verify an account," I said. "It's old, maybe 50 years. She sighed, typed the numbers I'd copied from the inside cover, then stopped. Her fingers froze over the keyboard. Her eyes went wide. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might pass out. "Ma'am," she whispered. "Don't move. Please stay right here." Within 30 seconds, 2 men in expensive suits were speed-walking toward me from the back offices. The branch manager, and someone else. Someone whose name tag read Regional Vice President. They didn't look at my thrift store jacket or my scuffed sneakers. They looked at me like I'd just walked in holding the deed to the building. "Dr. Castellano," the VP said, his voice respectful, almost reverent. "We've been waiting for someone to claim this account for a very long time. Please, come with us." They led me through a security door into a climate-controlled room that smelled like old paper and money. As they went to retrieve the file, I sat in a leather chair that probably cost more than my car and closed my eyes. Suddenly, I wasn't in a bank vault anymore. I was 11 years old, kneeling on my father's office floor with a rag and a bottle of wood polish. Vincent sat in his chair, bourbon in hand, watching me scrub. He'd spilled it on purpose. I knew he had. But the rule in our house was simple. Girls serve, boys succeed. My brother Dante was on the couch playing Xbox, his dirty shoes propped on the coffee table I'd just cleaned. "You missed a spot, Nina," Vincent said. His voice was soft, calm. He never yelled. He preferred a quieter kind of cruelty. When Grandma Rosa tried to help me up, his voice turned to ice. "Touch that rag, old woman, and I'll have you in a nursing home before sunset. You understand me?" I scrubbed until my hands bled that day. I scrubbed because I believed I had no value beyond what I could endure. The vault door opened with a heavy clank. I opened my eyes. I wasn't that 11-year-old girl anymore. I was the woman holding the lighter fluid. The VP placed a thick folder on the table in front of me. "Your grandmother didn't just open a savings account, Dr. Castellano," he said carefully. "In 1979, she established what's called a Totten Trust. She was an early investor in IBM and Coca-Cola. Every dividend was reinvested, untouched for 43 years. He slid a document toward me. My eyes found the number at the bottom. Current value, $18,200,000. $18 million. I stared at it. I thought about the ice bucket. I thought about Vincent laughing into that microphone, calling this fortune garbage. He'd held $18 million in his hands and thrown it away because he was too arrogant to open the cover. "Is anyone else listed on this account?" I asked. My voice was clinical, detached. "No," the VP said. "Just you. It's entirely and legally yours." I touched the ruined journal. It wasn't just money. It was ammunition. And for the first time in my life, I knew exactly where to fire it. If you're already hooked, hit that like button. Drop a comment if you've ever been underestimated by your own family. Subscribe because what happens next is going to blow your mind. My husband Marco didn't look up when I walked through the door. He was hunched over his laptop at our kitchen table, surrounded by a fortress of financial documents and spreadsheets. The air in our tiny apartment felt electric, like the moment before lightning strikes. Marco isn't just an accountant. He's a forensic auditor, the kind of guy who finds the one forged receipt in 10,000 transactions. He finds the cracks nobody else sees. It's not an empire, Nina, he said quietly, finally turning the screen toward me. It's a house of cards built on lies and offshore accounts. I looked at the monitor. I expected to see wealth, power, the millions Vincent bragged about at every charity gala and country club dinner. Instead, I saw red. He's broke, Marco said flatly. The estate in Coral Gables? Foreclosure notice filed 6 weeks ago. The family trust he manages? Empty. He's been shuffling the same $75,000 between 8 shell companies to create the illusion of liquidity. He tapped another document. And here's the best part. The IRS opened an investigation last month. Tax fraud, offshore evasion. He's not just in debt, Nina. He's facing federal charges. I stared at the numbers. The man who'd thrown my grandmother's legacy into a vodka bucket wasn't a real estate mogul. He was a con artist drowning in his own scam. He didn't just want money. He needed it to stay out of prison. My phone rang. Vincent. I put it on speaker. Marco stopped typing. Nina. His voice filled the kitchen. Smooth. Confident. The voice of a man who believed he still controlled the board. I've been thinking about that beach house Grandma Rosa left you. What about it? I kept my voice neutral. I'm going to do you a favor, he said. I've already talked to my attorney. We can sell it fast. I'll handle everything. Get you market value. Then we'll roll the proceeds into the family investment fund so you actually see a return. You're a doctor, sweetheart. You don't know the first thing about property management or tax shelters. Let me handle this for you. He wanted the beach house. The only physical asset Rosa had left me besides the journal. Worth maybe $400,000. Nothing to a real millionaire. Everything to a desperate fraud. I'm not selling. Dad's silence. Then the mask cracked. Listen to me very carefully, he snarled, his voice dropping an octave. That old woman was senile when she signed that deed. I have 3 witnesses ready to testify you manipulated a dementia patient into giving you family property. If you don't sign the transfer paperwork by Friday, I will sue you for elder exploitation. I will drag you through probate court until you're bankrupt and unemployed. He paused. Do you understand me? You're in over your head, Nina. He wasn't protecting me. He was hunting for assets. Any asset he could grab, liquidate, and funnel into his collapsing empire. I understand perfectly, I said. Good. I'll have the documents couriered over tomorrow. The line went dead. I looked at Marco. He wasn't worried. He was smiling. A cold, calculating smile that matched the fire building in my chest. Vincent thought he was bullying a helpless daughter. He had no idea he'd just handed us the blueprint to his own destruction. Comment karma if you already know where this is going. And subscribe because the revenge is about to get nuclear. I waited 48 hours before calling him back. Silence is a weapon. It amplifies desperation. Marco and I didn't panic. We planned. We didn't hire a lawyer to fight the beach house sale. We hired a graphic designer to create a portfolio of fake investment documents. When I finally called Vincent, I didn't summon the confident woman who'd walked out of that bank vault. I summoned the scared 11-year-old girl terrified of disappointing him. Dad, I whispered when he answered. I let my voice shake. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. You should be sorry, he snapped. But the edge softened. He was listening. It's not just the house, I said, pitching my voice to sound panicked and naive. I went to the bank. The journal. It wasn't empty. Dead silence. I could practically hear his brain calculating. How much? He asked. The greed dripped through the phone like poison. 18 million. I choked out. Dad, I don't know what to do. The bank manager started talking about estate taxes and IRS audits, and I think I'm in serious trouble. If the government finds out about this, they'll take half. I don't know how to protect it. It was perfect bait. I gave him exactly what he believed about me, that I was weak, stupid, and incapable of managing power. And I gave him exactly what he needed. A massive cash injection to save himself from federal prison. Listen to me very carefully, Nina, he said. His voice transformed instantly from bully to savior. It was chilling. Do not sign anything at the bank. Do not talk to any attorneys. You bring those documents to me. I can shelter the entire amount under the family trust. It's complicated, but I can make the tax liability vanish. I'm doing this for you, sweetheart. To protect you. Protect me. He wanted to swallow the entire inheritance to plug the holes in his sinking ship. Can we do it tonight? I asked. No, he said too quickly. He needed time to prepare the fake transfer paperwork. I have the Entrepreneur of the Year Gala on Saturday in downtown Miami. Perfect timing. Bring the documents there. We'll sign everything in the executive lounge before my speech. I'll announce the expansion of the family foundation. It'll look completely legitimate. He wanted an audience. He wanted the glory of announcing an $18 million windfall as proof of his business genius. Okay, I whispered. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for saving me. That's what fathers do, he said. I hung up. I looked at Marco. The fear vanished from my face like smoke. He took it, I said. Marco nodded. Already printing the real documents. They looked exactly like the standard transfer forms Vincent would expect. Same font, same headers, same legal jargon. But the fine print wasn't a transfer of funds. It was an affidavit of sole financial liability. Vincent thought he was reeling in a clueless daughter. He didn't realize he'd just invited the executioner to his own funeral. Drop a like if you're loving this. Comment trap set if you can't wait to see what happens next. Subscribe because the gala scene is going to be insane. The Entrepreneur of the Year Gala was held in the Grand Ballroom of the Intercontinental Miami. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, a room packed with politicians, real estate developers, and Miami's wealthiest families. I arrived at 8:15 in the evening. I wasn't wearing the beige, conservative outfits Vincent always told me to wear. I was wearing a blood-red gown that cost more than my monthly rent. I walked through the crowd like I owned the room. I saw Dante near the bar, already drunk, laughing too loud, playing the role of the heir to a kingdom that didn't exist. Vincent was at the front, flanked by a city commissioner and a state senator. He looked radiant, confident, the glow of a man who thought he'd just pulled off the con of the century. When he saw me approaching, his smile didn't falter, but his eyes sharpened. He excused himself and met me near the stage stairs. "You're late," he hissed through clenched teeth, his smile still plastered on for the cameras. "Do you have it?" "I have it," I said. I held out the navy leather portfolio. He snatched it from my hands. His greed was palpable, a living, breathing thing. "Is everything here?" he demanded. "The transfer authorization? The power of attorney? It's all there, Dad. Just like you asked. It puts the entire $18 million under the control of the family trust. You just need to sign as trustee to accept the assets." He opened the folder. He didn't read the fine print. He didn't check the definitions. He just saw the signature line. A smart man would have noticed the document was titled Affidavit of Historical Asset Management and Sole Liability. A smart man would have questioned why the dates went back 22 years, linking him retroactively to every offshore account and shell company listed in the appendix. But Vincent wasn't smart. He was arrogant. He believed so completely in his own dominance that he couldn't imagine a world where I was the threat. He pulled a silver pen from his jacket pocket. "You did the right thing, Nina," he said, scrawling his signature with a flourish. He handed the folder back to me, already turning toward the podium. "Go find a seat in the back," he ordered. "I have an announcement to make." He climbed the stairs to the stage. The room quieted. The spotlight hit him. I didn't go to the back. I moved to the side, pulled out my phone, photographed the signed document, and hit send. 4 miles away, Marco received it, attached it to the whistleblower complaint we'd prepared, and uploaded it to the IRS Criminal Investigation Division's secure portal. Seconds later, Vincent took the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced proudly, "tonight marks a historic moment. The Castellano Family Foundation is launching an $18 million expansion to support Miami's underprivileged communities." He was confessing, in real time, in front of 600 witnesses. He claimed ownership of funds I'd just legally tied to 2 decades of tax fraud and offshore evasion. He thought he was unveiling his legacy. He was reading his own indictment. My phone buzzed. Received. IRS CID confirmation number 7742. "It's done." Vincent was still smiling when the massive LED screen behind him flickered. The foundation logo disappeared, replaced by a seal. Department of Justice. Federal asset seizure in progress. Case #IR 2024 8831. The applause died. Silence flooded the room like water. Vincent turned, confused. his brain refusing to process a reality that didn't match his script. The ballroom doors burst open. 8 IRS criminal investigation agents swept down the center aisle. Vincent Castellano, the lead agent said, badge raised. Step away from the podium. Vincent clutched the microphone. Do you know who I am? We do, the agent replied. You're the sole trustee who just signed an affidavit accepting personal responsibility for 22 years of unreported offshore income. Vincent's eyes found mine across the room. She tricked me, he shouted. My own daughter. Save it for your arraignment. Handcuffs snapped shut. Cameras flashed as he was led out in front of Miami's elite. Stripped of power, reduced to a man in a rented tux. I thought it was over. It wasn't. The VIP lounge door slammed shut behind me. The lock clicked. I turned. Dante stood there, sweating. Face red, eyes wild. You destroyed everything, he hissed. It was already destroyed, I said calmly. The money never existed. He grabbed a champagne bottle by the neck and smashed it against the table. Jagged glass glinted in his hand. This wasn't strategy anymore. This was desperation. The moment when the illusion of family collapses and survival instinct takes over. Marco stepped between us. Put it down, Dante. Dante lunged. Marco caught his wrist, twisted hard, and I heard the snap. The bottle hit the marble floor and shattered. When security forced the door open seconds later, my brother was on his knees, sobbing. Not from pain, from irrelevance. If this story is giving you chills, smash that subscribe button right now. Comment justice if you think he got what he deserved. The ending is coming and it's perfect. That was 4 weeks ago. This morning, I'm sitting on the porch of my beach house. The one my grandmother left me. The one Vincent tried to steal. I fixed the roof, painted the shutters, planted flowers, made it a home. Vincent was denied bail. His assets are frozen. His empire liquidated. Dante took a plea deal. Probation. Community service. No inheritance waiting for him. Just work. I'm holding a copy of the affidavit in my hands. I light it on fire and watch it burn in a small metal bowl. I don't need it anymore. The IRS and DOJ already have everything that matters. This document was just a symbol of the fear I used to carry. Marco sits down beside me with 2 cups of coffee. The trust transfer is finalized, he says. All 18 millions. It's yours. What do you want to do with it? I look out at the ocean. The waves rolling in. The gulls circling. Nothing, I say. Let it grow. I'm still a doctor. Still Nina. The money isn't power. It's security. I pause. Family isn't blood, Marco. It's who stands beside you when the world tries to break you. He nods. We sit in silence. The sun rises over the water. And for the first time in 32 years, I feel completely, perfectly free. If this story hit you in the chest, do me a favor. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who needs to hear that you don't have to accept how your family treats you. Drop a comment telling me, have you ever had to walk away from toxic family? I'm reading every single story. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.